You're watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
Good morning, San Diego. Thanks for joining us on this Friday. Made it a little closer to the weekend here at 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connors.
And I'm Netta Iranpour. You'll notice those later sunsets.
Oh, yes.
Now.
Yeah.
Last night, Roya was like, "Why am I going to bed? It's bright, Mom." Because it's
Thought
late,
you were
okay?
tricking her. It's
We're
really
tired.
actually the time.
Yeah.
Time for bed. Yeah. Let's check with meteorologist Evan Nurani for how the weekend is looking. This is shaping up to be very spring-like, right?
Very spring-like. I mean, almost summer-like, you could say.
We'll take it.
But we are getting those later sunsets, the earlier sunrises. It's a beautiful weekend with some morning clouds that we'll run into, not only this morning, but Saturday, Sunday mornings. Looks like we'll have some of those clouds on shore as well. You can see where they're at as it stands right now. It's not causing much trouble out there. It's just something different for us to watch for, is that kind of blanket layer of clouds. By the afternoon, upper 60s and low 70s out there, upper 70s inland. We'll be talking more about the weekend forecast coming up in just a few. Back to you.
Evan, thank you so much. And now we are following this breaking news out of London. Take a look at your screens here. Hundreds of thousands of passengers now dealing with flight cancellations following that fire right near Heathrow Airport. This is considered Europe's busiest travel hub.
Yeah, you saw the flames at one point. This is a little bit of the aftermath here. You can see all the damage. The electrical substation there, that fire knocked out power to the airport, forcing it to close down for the day. At least 1,300 flights are affected by this, with several from the U.S. cities. The impact will likely last several days. Police say they have not found any indication that this was foul play, but counter-terror detectives are now leading the investigation. New this morning here locally, sheriff's deputies investigating a death in Valley Center. Last night, the San Diego Sheriff's Office responded to a call of a family member that recently passed away and was buried at the family's property in the 29,000 block of Paso Robles Road.
When deputies got there, they found what appeared to be a recently buried grave. Since there's no record of the family member's death, the sheriff's homicide unit is taking over the investigation.
This morning, the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, is ramping up efforts to combat cartels and stop the deadly flow of fentanyl into the United States.
The DEA says it's actively identifying drug trafficking networks right here in San Diego. CBS 8's Regina Yurita live near the border to explain what's being done to try to stop these cartels. Regina.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning, Netta and Eric. As you just mentioned, right, the Drug Enforcement Administration is actively monitoring and identifying these drug cartel networks, not only here in San Diego, but also in Los Angeles and really all over the United States. With the White House recently designating 8 Latin American cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, the Trump administration says these groups are involved in drug trafficking, migrant smuggling, and extend their territory through violence. So designating cartels as foreign terrorists means they're considered a national security threat. But the aim is to increase pressure on the groups and anyone who the U.S. sees as aiding them. Of the 8 Latin American cartel groups designated as foreign terrorists, half of them are from Mexico and 2 are from Venezuela. Now, just a few weeks ago, the Mexican government expelled 29 drug traffickers to the United States, and this included a drug lord behind the killing of a USDA agent back in 1985. We spoke with Brian Clark, a DEA special agent, who mentioned more about the recent move from the White House. Take a listen.
Opens up the entire federal government to use a new tool for DEA, to work hand in hand with the intelligence community and the Department of Defense and all of our federal partners to identify, track, and eliminate these drug cartel threats.
And both the Mexican government and the United States say they will continue to work together to decrease drugs entering into the United States. We'll have more on what this DEA special agent talked about with the relationship that Mexico has with the United States in stopping these cartel networks. For now, I'll send it back to you, Eric Canetto.
Thank you very much, Regina. This morning, we are now learning an 18-year-old man accused of shooting and killing a 12-year-old at a house party in National City is under arrest. Carlos Maldonado was arrested earlier this week. The deadly shooting happened last November at an abandoned house. This was on N Avenue near East 9th Street. The family of 12-year-old Elijah Smith, seen right here, expressed some relief following the arrest, saying they're now one step closer to justice. And this morning, we're learning a construction company has been issued more than $157,000 worth of fines following a trench collapse that killed a worker in Scripps Ranch last summer. The victim has been identified as 27-year-old Joel Gomez of San Marcos. According to investigators, Gomez was in a 17-foot deep, unshored earthen channel that collapsed onto him, leaving him trapped under dirt and a large concrete pipe. It's terrible. He died at the scene. The California Division of Occupational Safety and Health issued these citations to Long Beach-based W.A. Rasick Construction for purported workplace safety regulations. This morning, local school leaders reacting now to President Trump's efforts to dismantle the Department of Education.
The president signed an executive order yesterday, but legal challenges are ahead here. CBS 8's Chris Groh live outside San Diego Unified School District headquarters with more local reaction to all this here. Chris?
Yeah, good morning. And look, legal challenges ahead because it's not exactly clear if the president has the authority to do this. Many who are versed in this, legal scholars, have believed that it could take an act of Congress to completely dismantle the Department of Education, though Republicans do control both the House and Senate and have signaled that they would do whatever it is necessary to carry out President Trump's campaign promise. Now, in this executive order, it says the Education Secretary will, quote, to the maximum extent appropriate and permitted by law, take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of the Department of Education and return authority over education to the states and local communities. But again, that executive order does not detail how this is going to work or how it will be targeted, but it does say that certain critical functions will continue. Now, the Department of Education since 1979 has distributed money to college students through grants and loans, and it has also directed taxpayer dollars, federal funds, to K-12 public schools for programs primarily targeting low-income students, students with disabilities, and students from military families. While those federal dollars make up about 10% of K-12 school funding nationwide, that has already been approved by Congress. So what we're essentially seeing in terms of opposition, we have seen Democratic Congress members, both the House and the Senate, call out against this. But we've also seen local school district leaders as well as education leaders like Kendra Britt, who is the California County who's with the California County Superintendents, I should say. And she says that while the president's executive order today is not a surprise, its long-term impacts are still unclear.
Biggest concern is there going to be a disruption in services to our students, especially knowing now there's just nobody on the other end working on this. The programs that are going to get hit the hardest hurt the most vulnerable students, and that just doesn't feel right.
And so, again, there are likely going to be, if not already, legal challenges to this executive order and the verbiage in which it is using in order to try to order the dismantling of the Department of Education remains to be seen, though we already have seen protests both nationwide and locally. Eric and Netta.
All right, so what happens to student loans now if the Department of Education is dismantled? Well, as of now, the department will continue to oversee the distribution of federal Pell Grants and student loans. This as the department has struggled to find a viable alternative agency to manage its massive student loan portfolio. Right now, the Education Department handles $1.8 trillion for 40 million borrowers. An estimated 40% of loans are past due. President Donald Trump has previously suggested the portfolio would be transferred to the Treasury Department or Small Business Administration. That has not happened yet. According to Axios, if that were to happen, it could cause slower processing times for loans, applications, and payments, and increase the potential for more administrative errors. All right, heads up to all you train riders out there. Tomorrow, all North County rail service will be suspended through Sunday. That's because of a series of projects for routine track maintenance and infrastructure improvements. Coaster and Amtrak service between San Diego and Oceanside will be temporarily suspended.
And here we are now at 6:09 on a Friday, and I think after this week, people are starting to make more and more beach plans.
Right.
Where you want to meet this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, we've just been feeling
warming up.
Beach forecast is beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, the water is still very cold,
Okay,
but I'd say you can dip your toes
Yeah,
in,
dabble a
enjoy
little
that.
bit, yeah.
It feels warm out there by the coastline. There's a bit of a breeze to notice. There's also going to be some of that cloud cover that we'll watch for. Temperatures, though, across our coastline right at about 70 degrees, 77 across our inland valleys. Let's show you that live look outside. This is from Mount Soledad. And when we talk about that morning fog, this is what we're talking about, just that blanket layer of clouds. Sunrise coming at 6:51, sunset at 7:01 p.m. Remember, sunset is getting later, sunrise getting earlier, longer days ahead. It's cold out there, colder than normal. 43 in Mira Mesa, 46 in Del Mar, 37 in Ramona this morning. So grab the jacket as you head out the door and expect that fog to stick around for another couple hours, and then we'll steadily see more and more of that sunshine in the forecast later on today. Weekend beach forecast shows temperatures are going to be in the upper 60s and low 70s, AM fog and PM sun. So this morning is a great example, a great precursor of what you can expect for Saturday morning and for Sunday morning. By Monday morning of next week, we're going to be seeing those temperatures warm up another few degrees. Should be our peak, essentially, of when that ridge of high pressure is going to sit directly overhead. So these temperatures that are in the 60s and upper 60s over the course of the weekend will likely be in the low 70s by the time we get to Monday. When we look at your wind gust forecast, part of the reason why we're seeing some of those temperatures inland warm up is because that sea breeze is not quite as strong. So instead of the cool, moist air coming from the coast pushing on shore, we have a lot of that wind coming from the south, and still going to be breezy at times, but not too intense is what we're expecting overall. Let's take a look at how traffic is shaping up this morning. We want to take you to just one crash. I mean, here's the thing. Things have been very, very quiet this morning. As far as traffic goes, there's not even all that much volume on the roads. The one crash that we can take you to that's popping up here on the screen is a surface street crash, so it's not even on the freeway itself. It's off of the 8, it looks like. What we have out there is a crash on Rock Street at 60th. That's the only thing to watch for you. We should be slowing down a bit. Let's take a look at your border wait times this morning. It's pretty quick across both ports of entry. San Ysidro Port of Entry going to run you about 35 minutes. Otay Mesa Port of Entry should take you about 30 minutes in total.